Welcome to Bathurst, a mountain track that's tucked into the hills of Australia. This track is notoriously difficult for both man and machine. This circuit will heavily reward bravery as you aim to place your car as close as possible to each and every wall. But make a mistake and this circuit will punish you. Pushing the limits too far in this circuit will have you looking backwards or crashing into the cement walls that line the track. This will lead you looking at the pits while your competitors drive around the track. This track is unforgiving, unyielding, and one of the most dangerous in racing. There's nowhere to hide, and one lap's misjudgment could end your race and everything going up in smoke. You are not alone on the track. Those that you race with are potentially more treacherous than the track itself. You have to be focused throughout your stint or you could find yourself stuck in a pileup and waiting in the pits. This season I decided to participate in my first iRacing special event, the Bathurst 12 Hours. With me are my two teammates Matt and Martin and our Cookie Monster car. Stay with me on this video as I try to bring you with us through our 12 hours of action in this one video. I'll take you through our highs and lows of my first grueling endurance race. With that, let's get into it. This is the Bathurst 12 Hours. Matt was going to be our man taking on the first stint. He did a really good job at bringing the cold tires up to temperature throughout the first lap and got us up to the back of the pack. Due to some settings on my end, I was unable to see the pileup that had happened coming up the mountain, and unfortunately he found it before I could let him know, and this left our car heavily damaged. He tried to complete a few laps, but we decided that we were hemorrhaging too much time over the last few laps, and especially since this was the first part of his stint, we knew we needed to pit him in for repairs. The repairs took about 4 minutes, and that felt like an eternity when you're doing an endurance race. This was also going to put us out of pit sync with other cars for the remainder of the race and put us at the very, very back of the pack. Now, after that, Matt pulled back onto the track. He was able to finish his first stint without any other incidences, and same with his second stint. He did a really good job at staying out of trouble and putting in good, consistent lap times and got us up to 23rd position in this race. With Matt's first 2 stints done, it was finally my turn to put the Cookie Monster through its paces. My first few laps were slow and conservative as I got to grips with the car and got my nerves settled down a little bit and made some good moves diving down the inside on that last turn. The mountain started claiming more victims and the car started losing the rear ends coming up the mountain. I was able to navigate my way past multiple incidences during my first stint. This was leaving us with a lot of incidence points to play throughout the rest of the race as well. At the end of my first stint, I was able to return us to 17th position in the race, but unfortunately it wasn't going to last as I got a little bit too greedy on my throttle output coming up the mountain and I spun the tires on my outlap on my second stint. This lost us a lot of time. Matt was spotting me and helped me rejoin safely as possible, and we were lucky to not get collected by other drivers and did not need to go in for any repairs. For the rest of that second stint, it was my mission to recover as much time as I had lost as possible. I was able to aggressively chase down multiple cars on the track while keeping things clean and tidy. I made some key moves to not get stuck behind slower cars and regained a lot of time in positions that I had lost earlier due to my spin. I got very comfortable and started leaning on the Cookie Monster more and more, and sometimes almost too much. As I was coming to the end of my second stint, I navigated another few cars who lost control on the mountain, but my scariest test yet was coming down into the last corner of the track. I had 3 Porsches ahead of me and we were all pushing really hard. The lead car unfortunately went a little wide and caught the grass. This caused him to lose the rear end and made all of us behind him check up so that we were not all collected and caught in a pileup. A very ballsy move from the Ferrari was almost catastrophic for multiple racers. In the end, we made it through with minimal damage to the front end, and the last few laps of my stint were intense with multiple cars going off up the mountain. Thanks to good instincts and Matt spotting me, I was able to navigate them with no more incidences or damages to the car. With that, my stint was over and I was able to claw our team back up to 14th position. Matt took over the Cookie Monster again and his reflexes were immediately tested with a car on cold tires losing the rear end going up the mountain. Matt was able to navigate multiple incidences throughout a stint as the mountain's kill count climbed and climbed. Matt finished his third stint very well and pulled our team in 10th position, but unfortunately on his outlap of his fourth stint he lost the rear end again as I had done just a little bit earlier. He lost a few positions, but overall his fourth stint was largely uneventful and he was able to keep us in the hunt. It was Martin's turn to pilot the Cookie Monster, but unfortunately, disaster struck early in his first stint. He came through a blind corner with low grip and was unable to make any adjustments to the car that had crashed ahead. The resulting incident caused our car to be heavily damaged, and he was unable to turn left with any authority. This forced us to make another pit stop, and gratefully he was able to navigate the Cookie Monster back down the mountain and into the pits for repairs. Unfortunately, throughout that time, we were hemorrhaging race time and positions during this lengthy repair time. Martin finished his first stint well after the lengthy repair and recovered nicely from his big crash, but as luck would have it, that Mountain was going to claim all three of us on cold tires. Martin was not immune to losing the rear end going up the mountain on cold tires. He completed his second stint well with no other incidences and was able to claw himself back up the order. When it was my turn to pilot the Cookie Monster for my third and fourth stint, we were in 19th position. At this point in the race, we had 3.5 stints left, with 2 of them being mine to drive. Due to the previous incidences, we were already behind with nothing to lose. So now we entered into what our team dubbed the fuck it stage. We had nothing to lose and everything to gain, so it was time to go all out. Pulling out all the stops, I hit the track. Cautious for the first few laps to make sure we weren't caught up by cold tires again, but after that, it was an all-out war. I pushed the Cookie Monster to the edge. I raced hard and aggressive. At the end of my third stint, I had dragged our team all the way back up to 12th position in the race. Due to being out of pit sequence with the other teams, it was actually 15th position once everybody had finished their pits. My second stint was the same as the first. I smashed lap after lap as I got back into my rhythm and I was on fire. I navigated incidences and dangers with precision and speed. It was a largely uneventful stint other than my cracking lap times. I returned the car to the pits in one piece in 13th position overall, leaving it to Martin to bring us home. Martin's last stint and a half were all largely uneventful, with him navigating traffic well and avoiding incidences while also dropping some monster lap times. He did well to stay out of trouble and kept pressure on the competitors ahead, making sure that we never let the foot off the gas. Near the end of the race, we knew we were going to need a little bit more fuel to get through it. We decided to do a little splash and dash with Martin while he was in some heavy traffic to get him some clean air, and he was able to put in some phenomenal ending laps as he was able to bring us home to the 11th place overall in the race. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video about the 12 hours of Bathurst. If you like the content, please hit that subscribe button to help support the channel. I am practicing already for the 12 hours of Sebring. I'm going to be running it with my same teammates, but we're going to be running it in the Mercedes this time as well. So, if you like the content again, please hit the subscribe button. Thanks so much for the support, and I'll see you on the next one.